I'll do it the Milk Fund benefit in an hour.
Your hair needs plenty of attention, Mr. Ripley. It's all on end.
Why, it would be easy if my hair was like the Siamese, the Frenchman. He can move his hair at will. He can make it stand, lay down, curl, as he wished.
Well, he must have been reading a lot of those hair-raising novels to make his hair curl. I've got $1,000 that says Ripley is right. I don't believe it's possible for a man to go without sleep for 78 years. I'll take you up on that. Now, how are you going to prove it? I read it in Ripley's Believe It or Not. All we've got to do is find Mr. Ripley. He'll substantiate whatever he says.
I beg your pardon, gentlemen. I overheard your dispute. As I happen to be Mr. Ripley, maybe I can solve it for you. But you'll have to come with me for the proof.
Well, we're glad to know you, Mr. Ripley.
We'd be delighted to accompany you.
Believe It or Not fame, who has so kindly consented to appear for the Milk Fund for our poor kiddies.
The song you just heard was the Marseillaise, the French national anthem. But believe it or not, the French national anthem is German. It was taken from an old German song called the Song of the Rhine, and it was dedicated to a German, too, Count Nicholas von Luckner, the great-grandfather of the present-day Count von Luckner, the famous sea devil. While on the topic of music, did you know that Beethoven composed his greatest masterpiece, the Ninth Symphony, while he was totally deaf? And speaking of geniuses, Edgar Allan Poe sold his greatest work, The Raven, for $10. On the East Lake Golf Course, a few years ago, a little 9-year-old boy played 18 holes in 80 on a par 76 course. Today, that same little boy is the world's greatest golfer, our own Bobby Jones. And here is a little girl, only 16 months old, at an age when most children can't walk, who can roller skate. Little Helen.
That may come in handy when she grows up.
You would think of that.
Let me tell you about Madame Maldemer of Chambly, France, the progressive mother. The first year of her married life, she had one child. The second, twins. The third, triplets. The fourth, quadruplets. And the fifth, quintuplets. And the sixth year, she gave birth to 6 children at the same time, believe it or not.
Go up and ask Mr. Ripley how to get your wife to quit nagging you. I say, Mr. Ripley, can you tell me a way that I can stop my wife nagging me?
Why, yes. There was a Mrs. Gustav Wasserloff in Hamburg who kept her mouth filled with water for a week to break herself of the habit of nagging her husband.
I'd have to drown mine.
If you think you've had trouble with your wife, how about the Siamese Twins, Chang and Eng, who were born, joined together, and they were bitter enemies all of their lives. For a period of more than 2 years, they didn't even speak to one another. That is almost as disconcerting as the case of John Anderson, the champion oyster opener. He opened 68 million oysters in the past 3 generations and never found a pearl. He is more than 75 years old now and still looking. One of the most astounding things I ever heard of happened on the island of Martinique when Mont Pelee erupted, destroying the city of Saint-Pierre and 40,000 people, the entire population. Only one man was saved, and believe it or not, he was a murderer awaiting the death penalty in an underground cell.
Oh, Mr. Ripley, everything you say is so fascinating. I wonder if you'd draw a few of your cartoons for us so we could auction them off for the Milk Fund.
Okay, I'm delighted to. First, I'd like to show you how the expression okay originated. It was named for a bottle of rum. Would you like to see a bottle of rum? All right. Excellent quality of rum came from the city of OK, Haiti. It's spelled A-U-X-C-A-Y-E-S. Okay, and this is the type of nose that would naturally follow a bottle of rum. This is the nose of Tom Weathers of Yorkshire, England. He had the largest nose of any man who ever lived, 8½ inches long. Now let me draw for you the famous mystery child of Europe, Caspar Hauser. He could see the stars in the daytime. He could read and distinguish colors in utter darkness.
Oh, Mr. Ripley, I want to frame this cartoon of Admiral Sir Nesbitt Willoughby. Would you mind autographing it for me?
Why, certainly.
Oh, thank you so very much.
He is a famous English naval hero, the Iron Man. He was wounded 555 times. He was shot 71 times, cut with sabers 220 times. 3 times he was hurt with exploding shells, and 6 times he was shipwrecked. He looked like this. He lost an eye and an ear. Part of his chin. And an arm. And he finally died of old age in his 84th year. Well, he didn't miss anything, and neither does this gentleman, Mr. Albert Herpton of Trenton, New Jersey. He hasn't gone to sleep for 78 years. This fact has been established by the leading medical authorities of the country. Let me present Mr. Herpton.
Yes, it's true, Mr. Ripley. I haven't slept in 78 years. I have here statements from doctors who have had me under observation all my life. I have here newspaper stories dealing with me dating back to 1904.
Well, I lose. Thanks, old fellow.
Say, boys, why not give that check to the milk fund? The kids can use the money.
A great idea. Believe it or not, I will.